Today our speaker is Deepa Willingham. Deepa is a naturalized citizen of the U.S. and grew up in Calcutta, where she went to primary school under the stewardship of Mother Teresa. She got her secondary and undergraduate degrees in Calcutta and then came to the U.S., where she received her postgraduate degree. Today, she believes and is going to tell us about the fact that peace is not just the absence of war. It's our responsibility to actively create a lack of poverty and injustice and to correct human environmental problems and hopelessness. It's her dream to create peace, and she founded the PACE, P-A-C-E, Universal, and that's at www.paceuniversal.org, organization to prevent trafficking through the education of women and girls. She provides adult, environmental, and educational training, microloans, and upgrading of the living conditions to holistic village rehabilitation. It's her aspiration to make this first PACE learning center that's in India a model that can be made and replicated on a pathway to peace throughout the world. Her PACE Universal website has a donation software package I used yesterday, and I want to encourage all of our Columbia Center Rotarians to go to that page and make a donation to her organization. Please help me welcome Deepa.
Thank you, everyone, for having me. First of all, when you have a party, I want to be invited, okay? This Zoom, I have to be there because your sceneries are so beautiful. Anyway, as I said, thank you for having me. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We are chartered, we are encouraged. Our motto is service above self. The question is, why do we need to serve the planet? What is the problem? Because in many ways, friends, the planet is out of sync. There are too many things in the planet that are not right. And we are the only ones, we Rotarians are the only ones that I see are the planet's hope. So why is the planet in peril? What is the common denominator? Because currently the population of the planet is 7.5 billion and rising. And we have made some progress in decreasing extreme poverty, but just a minute, hold on, please. Oops, I went too far. How do I get back? Well, anyway, there are too many problems. How do I get back to the previous slide?
The back arrow on your keyboard.
Back arrow where?
On the keyboard?
Okay. All right, here we go. We have made some progress in reducing extreme poverty. Currently, 22% of the people are still living on less than $2.25. 1 in 5 are illiterates. 2/3 of that number are women. And this is the newest phenomenon that has started around the world. 2 million children are trafficked annually around the world, in making human trafficking the fastest growing business among global organized crime. So this is a graphic. I don't have time to go into the details of it, but all the lower circles that you see are various human conditions: lack of water, lack of governance, lack of sanitation, etc. All of that lead to the second tier of circles, which is poverty, injustice, hopelessness, and non-human condition, which then lead to frustration and which then lead to terrorism and violence, which is what you're seeing in many parts of the world. So we need to understand poverty. Do we have poverty in the United States? Yes, we do. But is it the same as the bottom tier that you see in this diagram that I developed? Imagine that the flat round surface represents society and the ladder represents people's ability to climb out and get to the next level. The less that flat round surface provide in terms of basic services, education, sanitation, water, etc., the narrower the ladder, meaning very few people without those services can ever hope to climb out and get to the next level of existence. So keeping that graphic in mind, look at the numbers we have in the planet today. Bottom tier, 2 million children die in armed conflict that they didn't start. 300,000 children are engaged as soldiers, abducted from their families under false pretenses. 250 million children are engaged in child labor. Then no sanitation, 6.2 billion people. Believe it or not, there are more cell phones in the world than there are toilets. You can see it, go to India and you will see people going to the bushes with a cell phone in their hand. We have made tremendous progress in providing clean water. Used to be 2.4 billion people didn't have access to clean water. It is down to 663 million people. No education. This is a very dangerous number. 640 million women are illiterate around the world. Without women being literate, we are not going to solve the planet's problems. And this is the newest phenomenon. When I speak in the United States, people are still telling me, no, trafficking doesn't happen here. It's only in Southeast Asia. Not true. The girl over here on the girl on the left here, my screen left, is from Southeast Asia. The girl on the middle is from India. The girl on the right is from the United States. In the United States, trafficking is high tech. They barcode the girls so that they cannot run away. This is what trafficked human beings are used for. 46% for sex trade, 27% for labor servitude, 10% for agriculture, 5% factory, etc. 300,000 children in the US annually are at risk of being trafficked for commercial sexual exploitation. 20 to 30 million slaves. There are more slaves now in the world than when the United States had slavery. Guess how much it costs to buy a human being? Just $90. And where are they trafficked into? Majority of them, labor servitude. If they're not working in sex trade, they're working in massage parlors, labor servitude, or as an au pair. Au pairs are mostly common on the East Coast. And the biggest source of trafficked children are runaway kids, mostly from foster care homes. Within 48 hours of a girl or a boy running away from foster care homes, they're picked up by a trafficker. And this picture on my right is absolutely makes me sick to my stomach to show this. This is a new form of entertainment. This is from about 6 years ago when Super Bowl happened in New Jersey, I believe. The largest number of underage girls were brought in to service VIP guests that sat on the glass cases around the stadium. The VIP guests got to have good drinks, good food, and sex with 12 to 14-year-old girls. NFL got into big trouble with these statistics that happened. And since then, they are making an effort. The last Super Bowl was in Houston. So they worked with the airlines and other people to see if they can have a handle on it. But anytime, anywhere there is a major conference or anything going on, you can rest assured there are trafficked underage children there servicing clients. Washington, your state, is the 13th in the nation for human trafficking. But on the good side, your state has one of the strictest law for criminal justice system for when they do catch trafficker. Why do what are your traffic victims are trafficked for? Is mostly you are very, very much involved in labor trafficking. Why? Because you are in international border with Canada. You have abundance of ports and vast areas of vast rural areas, and dependency on agricultural workers. And so these are the reasons that your area, sex trafficking is still going on in your state, but labor trafficking is very big in the state of Washington. And in poverty-stricken areas, the root cause of commercial trafficking, and you will see a video with regard to this, is why do they traffic their children? Because out of frustration, out of poverty, the lack of education, and the need, most importantly, they sell girls mostly so that they can feed the rest of the family. So what is our role in solving this problem? We, as President Holger said, we have to open doors. That means create opportunities. We have to be problem solvers. And we are the only ones that I see are peace builders in the world. UN cannot do it. UN can only do it, in my opinion, if Rotary partners with UN. So what is the most effective way to fight such atrocities? Believe it or not, the most effective way is to educate a girl. You men who are in this audience, I am not a female chauvinist oink oink, I'm not. But why is the female educating girls work so well? Because there's an African proverb that says, if you educate a boy, you benefit an individual. If you educate a girl, you benefit a community. Here is a quote from CARE, head of CARE. It says, every year of education you give a girl, she reduces her fertility rate, decreases child and maternal deaths, increases, I can't see the whole thing here. You can read the rest of it, which is, and literate women do not raise illiterate children. So the next generation improves. And this is a tremendous statistics. I'm not going to go through the details of it. I think President Obama is the one, and the World Economic Forum gave this number. Get this, if girls and women were educated and they were brought into the international labor market, guess how much it will add to the global economy? $12 trillion to the global economy. So it's a win-win situation. So knowing all this, in 2003, I started an organization called Promise of Assurance to Children Everywhere, started in September 2003. When I became 60, it really bothered me. I had lived my life, I felt that my life was wasted, that I lived for 60 years, I hadn't done anything to change, to make the planet a better place. So I talked to my Rotary Club. I joined Rotary in 2001. I talked to my Rotary Club, to my family. And I grew up with my mother telling me, finish the food on your plate because there are starving children outside the window. And they were. So I always told myself, I'll do something to help those children. So at the age of 60, I decided that I would do something to the children of my childhood. So started the organization with two mission statements that nurture the education, health, and nutrition, cultural development of girls and women in multiple areas of the planet. And the second one is, to me, is more important, build a prototype center that can be duplicated around the world. And this is FBI's recommendation to address trafficking. These are the 4 steps involved. And what we have done at Piali is address all those 4 steps. You have to be aware that there is the problem. You shouldn't be telling me it doesn't happen here. They need to prevent it. Education starting with school, paying attention to what the children are doing on their iPhones, what apps they're using, intervention, and then restoration. We started in a village about 45 kilometers, in a village that they were running less than $1 a day, and in a district that was the highest trafficking hub in all of India. And we started with a simple rented building, tin shack, tin roof. The first one had thatch, as you see over here, straw thatched wall. And I had to talk the parents into allowing the girls to come to school. But even this simple structure, as soon as I started, it gave, the biggest gift I gave is the gift of laughter to the children and bringing pride and hope to the lives of the villagers there. This is what the school looks like now. It has become an extreme, anybody who goes there after we travel through crowded streets and crowd and bus and cows and everything else and eventually get there, the first word that comes out of everybody's mouth is, oh my, it is an oasis. It is truly an oasis in the middle of madness that exists in the village of Piali. And we have formed a strategic partnership. This could not have happened without having Rotary as my partner. PACE provides bricks, mortars, staffing, and oversight. And our local partner, this individual, this would not have happened without this individual. Local partner is the Rotary Club of Calcutta Metropolitan, with whom we have the memorandum of understanding. And look what Rotary has done. Look at how many grants have come from various districts around the world to make this the center that it has become today. We started to change lives. We give them 2 meals a day. They get rigorous academic training. We have a fancy science lab. We have a fancy computer lab. We give them this is part of the restoration. It is not just enough to give them academic education. Most of these girls come from families where they have experienced sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. So in order to make them whole, we have to give them other avenues of life skill training. We give them sports, we give them music therapy, we give them yoga therapy, and I'm very proud to show you this bottom picture. This is the first and only rural interact club in all of India. They are tremendous. These first generation beneficiaries are learning to give back to their community. We have won many, many awards throughout the years. We have won many awards, both from in the United States and in India. But guess what, friends? The awards and all this fancy building wasn't cutting it. It wasn't enough. Why? Because in the village, the infrastructure was missing. We gave them clean water on 5 days a week, but on weekends they were having dirty water. So no matter how many times I gave them worm medication, it wasn't working. So being a Rotarian, I partnered with the Rotary and the Rotary Foundation. And I am a great supporter of the Rotary Foundation because I love their mission statement to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through improvement of health, support of education, and alleviation of poverty. It's a wonderful statement as far as I'm concerned. And these are, now it used to be 6 areas of focus to achieve. We have to stay in one community and achieve systematic change to the whole community. It used to be 6, now it's 7. We have added the climate change as an area of focus, which pleases me to go a great deal. Here is a working model that I'm going to show you to stop trafficking and changing the face of extreme poverty. And here's Dr. Jeffrey Sachs's quote: "How do you change the face of poverty? You do it one village at a time." So here are the focus areas of focus. They're getting basic education, both the girls and their mothers. Most of these mothers were married at the age of 11 and 12. And now they have come back to get educated and vocational trained so that they can increase their family income. The girls are supported at a cost of $375 per year per girl, and women are supported at the cost of $175 per year. We have, through our 3H grant, Health, Hunger, and Humanity grant, we have completely redone the village. We have done economic development by doing, I'll show you that in a minute, disease and maternal health. And most importantly, it has become a very popular site for our high school students to go there and experience that kind of poverty firsthand, and then learn what their generation has to do to make the planet a better place. And this is the latest thing that we are teaching the girls. Look at the artwork that girls did for climate change. This is what they see as to what we are doing to the climate, to our planet. The center picture is one girl drew after the Australian fire. So we have created a center for creating awareness, prevention, intervention, and restoration. And I am 79 years old. People ask me, how do you keep up the passion for doing this day in and day out? And I am now going to show, Mark is going to show you a video that got me started on this path. Mark?
Thank you, Deepa. I'll share that screen with you momentarily. Here you are. Everybody take a look at this video. Here we are.
Hey, Java. জবা, এই নে তোর বাবা তোর জন্য একটা নতুন জামা এনে দিয়েছে। পছন্দ হয়েছে তোমার? হ্যাঁ মা। তোর বাবা তোকে নিয়ে আজকে কলকাতা শহরে ঘুরতে যাবে।
What happened? How do I get back to my slide, Mark?
You can start again now, Deepa.
Okay. Oops, no, that's not what I want. Okay, friends. Java, oops, come on. Java's story, when I heard Java's story is what got me started in that village. So friends, we have to work together and hopefully we can open many doors and duplicate what has been done by an ordinary Rotarian like me around the world so that we can at least create this image for our planet by the time we are done with on this and pass on the torch onto the next generation. Thank you for listening and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Deepa. We'll stop that screen share and really appreciate your taking the time to share your story with us. I will have to agree that in the United States, it's taking some time for awareness to start, which is one of the first of your 4 pillars. And I think, though, that once awareness takes hold, the rest of those pillars have no doubt they're going to be achieved. We have a few minutes, so I'd like to open it up. If anybody would have any questions for Deepa, go ahead and raise your hand and unmute yourself. I'm not seeing any hands up. Oh, there's one. Bob Quay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like, Mark, if you could tell Deepa a little bit about the initiative that we have going here with Columbia Center Rotary and human trafficking and the event that we have to raise money, et cetera, to give her an idea of what we're looking at.
That is great, Bob, because we need to do this. We need to make people aware. And particularly if you can work, local Rotarians work with parents, they need to pay attention to what their children are doing on their cell phones. There are chat apps that they're using, which the traffickers are monitoring what they're, that's a big recruiting tool. And parents just leave the cell phone and let the children do their own thing. That's awareness is very much needed. And thank you for doing that in your area.
Yeah, and Bob, just to let you know, Deepa and I did have a long discussion yesterday, and I did fill her in on many of the things that our club has been doing.
Okay. Great.
The fundraising efforts that Bill and Randy took care of last year, and the awareness campaigns and the various messages associated with each of those chapters, so to speak. Are there any other questions for Deepa?
Yes, I have one. Deepa, thank you very much. I must share that I've been trying to help in this horrific blight that's upon our world. And I appreciate your endeavorment and your passion for that. So the question I have is, I know there's an awful lot of organizations that come together, and is there any synergy or linking between different organizations than, say, such as in India, to help strengthen your bonds and grow your impact besides Rotary? And all the other places, safe houses, are you connected or not?
Well, I don't know exactly what organizations in India is involved, but I know that many of the district attorney's office in this country, for example, I'm serving on a human trafficking task force in 2 counties, Santa Barbara County and San Luis Obispo County. So we have to bring all, like, law enforcement, social services, educators, PTAs, all groups together to address this problem. Because believe it or not, it is growing fastest in the United States. It surpassed, and worldwide, it surpassed weapons trade 4 years ago, revenue-wise. Drug is still #1 revenue-wise, but trafficking is catching up fast. You know why? Because once you sell a drug, the commodity is gone. A girl can be sold over and over and over again. And that's one of the reasons that it is growing so fast. So a lot of entities have to come together to create awareness, to devise ways of prevention, and then offer services for recovery. My dream is to do a safe house here. In Santa Barbara County, when a adult traffic victim is recovered, there's no place to send them. There's no safe house to send them. So we have safe house in Piali, and that's the model I'd like to see we create one here. So I don't know whether I answered your question, but we all have to come together to solve this problem.
Thank you, Deepa. We have one more question from Tony. Tony, go ahead.
Yes, let me see, I'm unmuted. Deepa, thank you again very much for that message. I guess I don't know that there's an answer to the question, but the question is individually, those of us that no longer have children but may have access to children, since we're involved in the youth committee here at this Rotary, maybe you could provide us some suggestions for things we could do to help educate youth through some of our programs. And not right now, give it some thought, and maybe you can provide a note. I can provide my email address or my phone number, because we're looking for ideas of how to reach out to children. And you just hit an issue that, after watching that video, I can't tell you how emotionally active I was. I wanted to reach into the screen and grab the guy, and I realized he was an actor. But so I got a lot of passion for what you're doing. So if you have any thoughts on what we might be able to do beyond what you're doing to reach out to youth locally, would appreciate it. Thank you.
There are a couple of things. The one person who's doing a lot of work outside of Rotary and outside of law enforcement, he is working with law enforcement, is, what's his name, the actor? He spoke in Atlanta, what's his name? I can't remember. I'll send you the information.
Kutcher, Adam Kutcher. Kutcher.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher, right, thank you.
Yeah.
He has developed, supported and developed a program called Thorn. And Thorn's job is to interrupt the communication between a trafficker and a child. And so the thing that we need to first do, I can suggest, is to bring the topic up among school boards. I don't know, in Santa Barbara, for example, California mandates it that such education happen, but Santa Barbara School District will not allow it. So all we can do is keep trying to work through parents groups to make them aware of it, and then also look at Thorn's website. They have I Am Thorn, or This is Thorn, or some website. I will look it up, where he gives ideas on how to begin to address the issues with children. The other thing is, biggest source of runaway kids is foster care homes. Work with local foster care administrators to see if we can improve foster care facilities so that children are not running away.
Tony, if you're interested in working with the trafficking committee, we are interacting with the local school superintendents and trying to get an international grant through the Rotary Foundation to provide some more education in the local schools. So you're welcome to help with that if you'd like.
Okay,
That's
thanks.
wonderful.
I appreciate that. We, because some of our normal things we would do, probably the same case for all the committees, require face-to-face things. We're not able to do that. So if we can do something to collaborate with you or in any way, we're just looking for some good ideas. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Janine. Carol, go ahead. You had a question and we'll have to wrap up.
Okay, my question is, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay,
Yes.
for Deepa, why, and I know you can't give an explicit answer, but why is it so difficult to catch these people that are heading these horrible rings and prosecute them? And I mean, how is it they're able to get away with this? I just don't understand. I mean, it just puts a knot in your stomach to think of it.
Yeah, There's several reasons. One big one is they frequently get the children dependent on drugs. They get them hooked on drugs. So the children don't, even when you recover, they go back because they're missing the drug. That's one reason. Secondly is labor servitude. For example, I spoke at a Northern California town where they have done a great job. They have a wonderful facility for addressing women who are suffered abuse and women who have suffered sexual abuse and even some recovered traffickers. And when I spoke there, they have a big old theater, and they did a big job bringing in the mayor, the police, everybody else. And they also showed me the town, and there were several massage parlors. And since they had done such a great job, I asked the Rotarians, "Oh, you mean you have also looked at all the massage parlors?" They said, "What?" People are not aware that there are, in massage parlors, there are enslaved workers behind the facade of the wall. So awareness is a big problem. That's the reason that people don't believe that it's happening in this country. And that's what the traffickers rely on. And then teenage years, the third thing is teenage years, children have trouble and they are lonely or they feel nobody listens to them. And it's the increase in the chat apps that have caused the problem. And the traffickers, they go into hiding. It's very difficult, and they will sometimes recruit brothers to be traffickers by bribing them. So there are multitudes of reasons why this is the problem is not going well. Law enforcement is just getting involved. They are just, and your state is a good state. It has, once they are caught, you have very strict penalty for trafficking. Believe it or not, the country that has the best success in addressing human trafficking, anybody have an idea which one? Switzerland. You know why? Because they decriminalized selling of sex. They criminalized buying of sex. They are having the best success. They decriminalized selling of sex and criminalized buying of sex. So we need innovative ideas like this. And we need not to have, once they are caught, we need to put them away.
Thank you, Deepa.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I think we're out of time. And Deepa, once again, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to our Rotary Club today. I thank you for your inspirational message and the work that you continue to do.
Yeah.
And appreciate it.
One last thing.
Yes.
Come with us. Our tentative plan is next trip is in end of March and beginning of April of 2021. I don't know whether we can do it, but we will confirm the dates in November.
Very good. We'll look forward to hearing about that. Deepa, I don't have to tell you about Rotary's mission with Polio Plus. As a thank you for your time and your presentation today, we'll be making a donation to Polio Plus as a thank you.
Thank you for having.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having.
Everybody remember your committee meetings. There's a bunch going on later today and throughout next week. Next week in this meeting, we will have the Kennewick City Manager, Marie Mosley, and she'll be giving us an update on the city and everything going on. Hope you can make it. Hope you can join me. Everybody, we'll keep this channel open for a bit, but that concludes our meeting. We are adjourned.